Ethan felt his heart beat faster as the glowing city came into view. He had never been to another planet before, and every sight amazed him. Buildings floated in the air, their surfaces shining with colors he could not name. Rivers of light flowed between the towers like ribbons, and strange plants glowed softly along the streets. He had read about alien cities, but nothing he had imagined could match this. Beside him, Lyra smiled. She floated slightly above the ground using small anti-gravity boots, moving gracefully as if the air itself obeyed her. "You look nervous," she said. Her eyes glimmered with soft light. "It is okay. My mother will test you, but I believe you will do fine." Ethan swallowed hard. He had met Lyra's friends and her colleagues, but meeting her mother felt different. Lyra's mother was a respected leader in their city. She was wise and careful, known for understanding people deeply. Ethan had no idea how she would react to a human. He wondered if she would accept him. The streets were busy with alien citizens, yet there was calm in the movement. Aliens of many shapes and colors passed by, some with translucent skin, others with extra limbs or shining eyes. All of them carried themselves with elegance and purpose. Ethan felt a mixture of awe and intimidation. He tried to match Lyra's calm, but his hands shook slightly. Finally, they arrived at the home. The entrance was enormous, made of a material that seemed alive. Light moved across its surface in patterns like flowing water. Lyra reached out and touched the door. The surface rippled and then slid open silently. Ethan stepped inside, and the door hummed softly as it sealed behind them. The interior was even more breathtaking. The walls glowed with soft, changing colors. The air carried a gentle scent of flowers he had never seen. A fountain floated in the center of the room, its water suspended in the air as tiny droplets circled each other slowly. Everything looked alive, as if the home itself was watching. Then she appeared. Lyra's mother, Saren, stepped into the room. She was taller than Ethan expected and moved with quiet authority. Her skin had a faint shimmer, and her eyes held a depth that made Ethan feel like she could see through him. She regarded him silently, her gaze calm but intense. "Welcome," Saren said. Her voice was soft, yet it filled the room. Ethan bowed slightly, unsure if he was showing proper respect. Saren did not comment, but her eyes followed him as he tried to adjust. Lyra walked closer to her mother. "Mother, this is Ethan," she said gently. "He has come to meet you." Saren nodded. "I see. You have courage to visit. Courage is important. You must understand our ways if you wish to be part of this family." Ethan nodded quickly. "I will try my best," he said. He felt the words sounded small compared to the presence of this woman. Saren studied him carefully. She turned and gestured for him to follow her deeper into the home. As they walked, Ethan noticed strange devices on the walls. They seemed to move slightly, as if adjusting themselves to his presence. He felt watched, not in a frightening way, but in a way that made him aware of every thought he had. Finally, they reached a private room. The door slid closed behind them with a soft click. Ethan realized too late that it had locked automatically. He looked at Saren, who was now standing closer to him. "Now we are alone," she whispered. Her voice was calm but firm, and Ethan felt a shiver run through him. He swallowed and nodded. He was alone with Lyra's mother, the woman who would judge whether he was worthy to be with her daughter. Fear mixed with curiosity, and he realized that whatever came next, he had to be honest, brave, and clever. Lyra stood quietly beside him, giving him a reassuring smile. "You can do this," she said softly. Her hand brushed his arm, and Ethan felt a sudden surge of confidence. Saren's eyes studied him again. She did not speak immediately. Instead, she waited, letting the moment stretch. Ethan felt the weight of her gaze, understanding that this was not a normal meeting. This was a test, though he did not yet know what kind of test it would be. Ethan straightened, took a deep breath, and prepared himself. He had entered an alien home, a world completely different from his own, and now he had to prove that he belonged. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of the door. Outside, the city glowed with strange beauty. Inside, Ethan's adventure was just beginning. Ethan's heart still raced as he stood in the softly glowing room. Saren did not speak for a moment. She studied him with calm eyes that seemed to measure his every thought. He felt exposed but also curious. There was something about her presence that demanded respect and attention. Lyra stepped closer, standing slightly behind Ethan. She held his hand gently, giving him courage. "Mother is testing you," she whispered. "She needs to know who you are. Do not be afraid." Ethan nodded, trying to appear confident. "I will do my best," he said. His voice sounded small, but he hoped Saren could see his sincerity. Saren finally moved. She gestured to a large table in the center of the room. On it, strange objects floated in midair, glowing faintly. Ethan leaned forward to look, fascinated. They were shapes he had never seen before, some geometric, some fluid and shifting. "These are tools of understanding," Saren said calmly. Her voice was soft but carried authority. "You will need to use your mind and your heart to interact with them." Ethan frowned slightly. He did not understand what she meant. Saren smiled faintly and held out her hand. A small, glowing orb floated from the table and hovered in front of him. It changed color as he moved his hand near it. "Your first task is to learn," Saren said. "This is not simple. Watch carefully, and then act. The orb will respond to honesty and clarity." Ethan concentrated. He reached out slowly, and the orb brightened slightly. He smiled and tried a different motion, moving his hand in a circle. The orb followed, glowing a warm color. Saren's eyes softened slightly. "You are careful, but you must also feel," she said. "We do not value speed over understanding. You must sense the meaning behind what you see." Ethan tried again. He closed his eyes and imagined what it would be like to be the orb. He thought about its movements and purpose. When he opened his eyes, the orb responded with a steady light, as if acknowledging his effort. Saren's gaze lingered on him. "Most humans rely only on logic," she said. "You are different. You try to feel. That is important. You may have potential." Ethan felt a surge of pride, but also tension. He knew this was only the beginning. There was more to come, more tests to prove he could live and thrive in an alien world. Lyra watched quietly, her expression calm. She knew her mother's ways better than anyone. Ethan noticed how patient Lyra was, how she understood the subtle meanings in her mother's words. He realized he had much to learn, not only about Saren but about her world and her people. Suddenly, the orb shifted again. It moved faster this time, as if challenging Ethan. He realized he needed to think quickly. He watched the orb carefully, observing its patterns and color changes. Then he tried to match them with his own movements. The orb paused briefly, then glowed brightly, spinning slowly in the air. Saren's eyes reflected satisfaction. "You have adapted," she said. You are learning not just with your hands but with your mind and heart. That is what matters. Ethan exhaled, feeling relief and excitement. He was beginning to understand the depth of Saren's tests. She was not only measuring his intelligence but also his empathy, patience, and willingness to grow. Saren stepped closer, her movements smooth and deliberate. You are aware that humans and aliens are different, she said. That difference can be a strength if you respect it. You may survive here, but you must continue to prove yourself. Ethan nodded earnestly. I will do everything I can, he said. He felt a strong desire to earn her respect, not just for himself, but for Lyra. He knew how much she cared for him and how important her family's acceptance was. Lyra smiled, squeezing his hand gently. You are doing well, she whispered. Mother watches closely, but she values courage and honesty above all else. Ethan looked at Saren again. The room felt alive with quiet energy, as if it were waiting to see what he would do next. He realized that this meeting was not just a formality. It was a challenge, an opportunity to show that a human could be more than what aliens expected. Saren's gaze softened, but her eyes still held depth and mystery. Ethan felt a mix of pride, fear, and determination. He knew that this was only the beginning, and that he had to remain strong, clever, and compassionate. The glowing orb hovered between them, a silent reminder that every action and thought mattered. Ethan took a deep breath and prepared for whatever came next. Ethan felt a mix of excitement and nervousness as Saren stepped back. The glowing orb floated above the table, its light pulsing gently. He realized that the orb was only the beginning. Saren's eyes followed him closely, calm but sharp, as if she could see inside his mind. You have shown patience and empathy, Saren said. Now you must face a more difficult challenge. This will test not only your mind but your character. Ethan nodded, trying to steady his heartbeat. He wanted to do well, to show that he could belong in this strange new world. Lyra squeezed his hand lightly, giving him strength. Saren gestured, and the room changed. Holographic images appeared around them, forming a complex maze of shifting walls and doors. Ethan blinked. He had never seen anything like it. Colors swirled and shapes moved in patterns that made him dizzy for a moment. This is a simulation, Saren explained. You will face situations that require quick thinking and compassion. Your choices will matter. The way you act shows who you truly are. Ethan stepped forward carefully. The floor beneath him glowed faintly with each step. He noticed that the walls of the maze responded to his movements, opening doors when he approached and closing others. It was like the maze was alive, watching him. The first challenge appeared as a holographic figure of a young alien. It looked confused and frightened. Ethan instinctively stepped closer. Are you okay? He asked. The figure's eyes shimmered, and it reached out to him. Saren's voice echoed softly in the room. Help, but do not force. Understand before you act. Ethan took a deep breath. He moved slowly, mirroring the figure's gestures, and tried to understand its feelings. The figure calmed, its light changing from a harsh red to a soft blue. Ethan felt relief and satisfaction. He realized that this test was not about speed or strength, but about empathy and awareness. As he moved deeper into the maze, more challenges appeared. Some required reasoning, solving puzzles of shapes and symbols. Others tested his judgment, showing situations where he had to make choices quickly and wisely. Each task made Ethan think carefully, not only about what he was doing but why. Saren watched silently, her expression unreadable. Ethan sensed her approval when the room's light brightened slightly as he solved a puzzle. He smiled, gaining confidence. Even though the challenges were difficult, he felt himself growing, learning the ways of this alien world. Suddenly, a new test appeared. A holographic scene showed two alien creatures in conflict. One was injured and frightened, the other angry and loud. Ethan froze for a moment, unsure what to do. He remembered Saren's words, "Understand before you act." He observed both figures carefully, noticing their gestures and tone. Then he stepped forward, speaking calmly to both. He suggested a way to help the injured one while calming the angry one. Slowly, the conflict eased. The holograms shimmered and disappeared, replaced by a soft golden light. Saren nodded. "You see clearly. You do not act out of fear or pride. You act with understanding. That is what matters." Ethan felt a mixture of pride and relief. He realized that this was the first time he had truly felt like he belonged in this world, even if only for a moment. Lyra's presence gave him strength, but it was his own choices that had brought him this far. The maze began to fade, and the room returned to its previous calm state. The orb floated back to the table, its light steady. Saren stepped closer to Ethan. "You have learned quickly. You are not perfect, but your heart guides you. That is more important than perfection." Ethan bowed slightly. "Thank you," he said. "I want to learn and understand everything I can." Saren studied him for a long moment, her eyes softening. "Very well," she said. "There is still much to see and understand. Your journey has only begun. Courage, intelligence, and empathy will carry you forward, but you must continue to prove yourself in ways that challenge you." Lyra smiled at him proudly. Ethan felt a warm sense of accomplishment. He realized that he had passed one of the most important tests, not through strength or speed, but through patience, understanding, and care. He looked at Saren again. The woman who had seemed so strict and mysterious now seemed more like a guide than a judge. Ethan knew that whatever came next, he was ready to face it. The real adventure was only beginning, and he felt eager to prove himself even more. After the maze test, Ethan felt a strange mixture of relief and curiosity. Saren walked slowly through the softly glowing room, her steps light but deliberate. Ethan followed, trying not to stumble over his own excitement. He had passed the first challenge, but he knew this was only the beginning. Saren led them through a corridor that curved like a spiral. The walls shimmered with images that seemed alive. Ethan leaned closer and saw that they were not simple pictures. They were memories, showing moments from the lives of Lyra's family. Scenes of discovery, celebration, and quiet reflection moved across the walls. Each image seemed to tell a story, and Ethan felt a deep respect for the history he was witnessing. "This home is more than a building," Saren said, her voice soft but firm. "It holds the experiences and wisdom of generations. To understand us, you must understand these stories." Ethan nodded, fascinated. He reached out carefully, and one of the images expanded. It showed a younger Saren, studying glowing plants in a distant garden. She moved with care, her eyes filled with curiosity. Ethan realized that the woman he had thought of as strict had once been a learner too. Lyra stepped beside him, her hand brushing his. "My mother has always valued learning and understanding," she said. "That is why she tests everyone who comes here. It is not meant to scare you. It is meant to guide you." Ethan smiled faintly. "I can see that now," he said. "It is incredible. I never imagined a home could hold so much life and history." Saren stopped before a large chamber. The walls glowed with soft patterns, and in the center floated a circular platform surrounded by artifacts. Each object was strange and beautiful. Some were tools, others looked like instruments of knowledge, and a few shimmered as if holding light inside them. "These are pieces of our past and our achievements," Saren explained. "They show what we value, what we have learned, and what we hope to pass on." Ethan walked slowly around the platform, reaching out to touch one of the artifacts. It pulsed gently under his hand, responding to his curiosity. He felt a connection, as if the object recognized his interest and sincerity. Saren observed him carefully. "You learn quickly," she said. "But learning is not just about knowledge. It is about understanding the meaning behind what you see and do. That is what guides us." Ethan looked up at her. "I want to understand," he said. "I want to learn everything I can." Saren nodded. She waved her hand, and a small holographic projection appeared above the platform. It showed scenes from her youth travels across the planet, interactions with other intelligent species, and moments of personal discovery. Ethan watched in awe as the images unfolded, revealing the depth of Saren's experiences. "You see now why I am careful," Saren said. "Life is complex, and we have responsibilities that must be honored. Every choice matters. You must understand that if you are to be part of this family and this world." Ethan felt the weight of her words. He understood that being accepted was not about simple rules or gestures. It was about understanding, respect, and the willingness to grow. He felt determined to continue proving himself. Lyra stepped closer, her eyes bright with pride. "You are learning more than most humans would expect," she said softly. "Mother tests not only your skills but your heart. That is what truly matters." Ethan nodded. He realized that he was beginning to feel at home in this world. The tests, the artifacts, and the lessons were not obstacles but opportunities to understand a culture far beyond his own. Saren stepped forward, placing her hand near one of the glowing artifacts. "Remember this, Ethan," she said. "Strength and knowledge are important, but empathy and understanding guide true success. You must carry that with you in all you do." Ethan absorbed her words, feeling their truth. He looked around the chamber again, seeing the history, wisdom, and beauty of the home. He knew that this was more than a place to meet his girlfriend's mother. It was a place to learn, grow, and prepare for challenges that might come in the future. As they left the chamber, the soft glow of the walls followed them. Ethan felt a quiet excitement. He had passed the first real test, seen the secrets of the home, and learned the importance of understanding and empathy. He knew that the journey ahead would be difficult, but he felt ready to face it. Ethan had been walking through the softly glowing halls of Saren's home for hours. Each room revealed new lessons, artifacts, and memories. He felt a growing sense of understanding and connection to Lyra and her family. He was learning quickly, but he did not expect what came next. A sudden alarm echoed through the home. The soft hum of the walls shifted into a louder, urgent tone. Lyra's eyes widened, and she grabbed Ethan's arm. "Something is wrong outside," she said. Her voice was calm but tense. Saren appeared immediately, her expression serious. "A rogue ship approaches the city," she said. "It is unarmed, but it is moving unpredictably. It could cause damage if it collides with the structures." Ethan felt a surge of fear and adrenaline. He had never dealt with anything like this. He looked at Saren, unsure what to do. She did not give instructions at first. Instead, she observed him carefully, her gaze steady. "You can help," Saren said finally. But you must think clearly and act with understanding. Do not panic. Ethan nodded, trying to focus. He watched the holographic display appear in front of him, showing the rogue ship spinning toward the city. He realized that quick thinking could prevent disaster. Lyra guided him to a console with glowing controls. Follow my instructions, she said. We can reroute the ship, but it will require precise timing and judgment. Ethan studied the controls. They were unlike any technology he had seen. Symbols shifted and pulsed, responding to touch and thought. He felt a wave of panic but pushed it aside. He remembered Saren's tests: empathy, understanding, and careful thinking. He took a deep breath and focused. Step by step, he followed Lyra's guidance, interpreting the symbols and moving the ship's trajectory. The rogue ship spun dangerously close to the city's outer structures. Ethan adjusted the controls, carefully balancing speed and angle. The holographic display showed the predicted path, and slowly, the ship began to stabilize. Saren's eyes softened as she watched. You are thinking with clarity, she said. Not all humans would remain calm in this situation. You are learning quickly. The rogue ship finally moved into a safe path, circling the city harmlessly. Ethan exhaled deeply, feeling relief flood through him. He had acted decisively, but he had also remained careful and thoughtful. Lyra smiled proudly. You did it, she said. You helped save the city. Ethan felt a mixture of pride and exhaustion. He realized that this was more than a test of intelligence. It had been a test of courage, judgment, and the ability to remain calm under pressure. Saren stepped closer. You acted not only with skill but with understanding, she said. That is what matters. Strength without awareness can cause harm. You have shown that you can think clearly and act wisely. That is why you may belong here. Ethan nodded, humbled by her words. He realized that he had grown during this crisis. He had faced fear, uncertainty, and pressure, and he had emerged capable. He felt a new confidence in himself, not arrogance, but assurance that he could rise to challenges when needed. Lyra held his hand gently. You are proving yourself, she said. Mother tests everyone, but you are learning the most important lessons: patience, understanding, and courage. Ethan looked at Saren, feeling gratitude and respect. Thank you for giving me the chance to help, he said sincerely. I want to continue learning and proving myself. Saren nodded. This was only a glimpse of what may come, she said. Life in this world can be unpredictable, but those who act with intelligence and heart will thrive. You have shown that you can do both. Ethan felt a quiet pride, but he also understood the weight of responsibility. Being accepted was not about completing one task or test. It was about consistently acting with understanding, courage, and respect for others. The city outside continued to glow with vibrant colors, peaceful and safe once more. Ethan realized that he was not only learning about Lyra's world, but also discovering his own abilities in ways he had never imagined. He knew that more challenges would come, but he was ready to face them. Saren looked at him with approval, Lyra smiled warmly, and Ethan felt a sense of belonging he had never known before. He understood that he was part of something bigger now, and he was eager to continue the journey. After the rogue ship was safely guided away from the city, the house returned to its calm, glowing atmosphere. Ethan could still feel the rush of adrenaline in his chest, but he also felt a quiet sense of pride. He had faced a challenge unlike anything in his life, and he had succeeded. Saren approached him slowly, her eyes calm but observant. You have shown courage, intelligence, and understanding, she said. Most humans would have panicked or acted without thought. You have done differently. You have shown the qualities that matter in our world. Ethan nodded, feeling a mixture of relief and gratitude. Thank you, he said sincerely. I have been trying to learn and understand everything I can. I want to do my best for Lyra, and for your family. Saren's expression softened. It is not enough to want. You must also act wisely. But your actions today show that your heart guides you. That is what I value most. Lyra stepped closer, smiling proudly at Ethan. Mother has been watching closely, she said. She tests everyone, but you have done more than many expect. You have proven yourself. Ethan felt warmth in his chest at her words. He realized that this journey had been more than a test. It had been an opportunity to show who he truly was, and to learn how to live in a world very different from his own. Saren led them to a chamber filled with soft golden light. Floating symbols moved gently around the room, and artifacts from the family's history hovered quietly. This is a place of reflection, she said. It allows those who enter to understand the balance between strength, wisdom, and compassion. You are ready to see it? Ethan looked around, fascinated by the beauty and serenity of the room. He reached out to one of the floating symbols, and it glowed brighter in response. The light seemed to show him images of his own journey, arriving at the alien city, meeting Saren, facing the maze, and guiding the rogue ship. Each moment replayed with clarity, reminding him of how much he had learned. You see yourself clearly now, Saren said. You have made mistakes, but you have learned from them. That is more important than perfection. You have grown because you acted with care, thought, and heart. That is why I accept you. Ethan felt a wave of emotion. He had been nervous and unsure when he arrived, but now he felt seen and respected. Saren's acceptance was not about status or power, it was about recognizing his true character. Lyra took his hand. I am proud of you, she said softly. Mother sees what I have always known. You are capable, kind, and brave. That is why you belong here. Ethan smiled, feeling a deep sense of belonging. He realized that this was not just about being accepted into Lyra's family, but about understanding that humans could contribute meaningfully in a world filled with advanced beings and complex challenges. Saren spoke again, her voice calm and wise. You must continue to learn and grow, she said. Life will bring challenges, and your actions will shape not only your path but the paths of those around you. Always remember to act with thought, empathy, and courage. That is the way to truly thrive. Ethan nodded. I will, he said firmly. He felt a strong determination to honor her guidance and continue proving himself. The room glowed softly around them, filling Ethan with a sense of peace. He looked at Saren and then at Lyra, realizing that this family, and this world, had welcomed him not because of his abilities alone, but because of his heart. Lyra squeezed his hand. We are ready to face the future together, she said. Ethan felt the truth in her words. They were partners, ready to navigate whatever challenges came their way, supported by understanding, trust, and mutual respect. Saren nodded. You have begun your journey well, she said. Remember that every choice matters. Continue to act with care, and you will always find your place here. Ethan looked out through the glowing walls at the city beyond. He saw the floating towers, the rivers of light, and the bustling streets. He realized that he had grown not just in skill, but in understanding. He was ready for whatever adventures awaited, knowing that courage, heart, and empathy would guide him. The city outside glowed in soft waves of light as Ethan stood beside Lyra and Saren. He felt a calm pride. He had faced tests, learned lessons, and proven himself. Now, for the first time, he truly felt part of something greater than himself. Saren turned to him with a gentle smile. "You have learned much, Ethan," she said. "You have faced challenges, shown courage, and acted with understanding. That is why you are welcome here." Ethan bowed respectfully. "Thank you," he said. "I will continue to learn and do my best. I want to honor your guidance and support Lyra in all that we face together." Lyra smiled and squeezed his hand. "I am proud of you," she said. "Not only for what you have done, but for the person you are. That is why you belong here." The family walked together to the central balcony of the home. From there, the glowing towers, floating gardens, and rivers of light spread out as far as Ethan could see. The city seemed alive, a place where every movement mattered and every being contributed to the harmony of the world. Ethan looked at the city, feeling both awe and responsibility. He realized that being part of this world was more than acceptance. It was about understanding the balance between courage, empathy, and wisdom. It was about knowing that his choices could shape not only his life, but the lives of others. Saren placed a hand on his shoulder. "This is only the beginning," she said. "Life here will challenge you in ways you cannot yet imagine. But I believe you are ready. Humans have potential beyond what we often expect. You have shown that your heart and mind can guide you wisely." Ethan felt a warmth spread through him. He realized that being human did not make him weak or small in this advanced world. His courage, honesty, and willingness to learn were what mattered most. He felt stronger and more confident than he ever had before. Lyra stepped closer, her eyes reflecting the soft lights of the city. "Together we will face what comes next," she said. "We will explore, learn, and help each other grow. You are not alone anymore." Ethan nodded. He felt a deep bond with Lyra, strengthened by the trust and understanding they shared. He also felt respect and gratitude for Saren, who had tested him not to intimidate, but to guide him. Her wisdom and care had helped him grow in ways he could not have imagined. The floating platform of the home shimmered, and the walls displayed gentle waves of color. Ethan realized that the home itself seemed to welcome him. The artifacts, the memories, and the history of Lyra's family had become part of his journey. He felt connected not only to the people around him, but to the very essence of this place. Saren spoke again, her voice calm and wise. "Remember that every action matters. Courage, intelligence, and empathy are your greatest tools. Continue to act with care and understanding, and you will always find your place here." Ethan nodded firmly. "I will," he said. "I promise to honor what I have learned and continue growing." The city outside sparkled as night approached, the rivers of light reflecting in the sky. Ethan felt hope and excitement for the future. He knew there would be challenges, but he also knew he had the strength, heart, and guidance to face them. Lyra smiled at him, and together they looked at the horizon. The floating towers, the glowing plants, and the bustling streets reminded Ethan of how far he had come. From nervous visitor to accepted family member, he had grown in courage, understanding, and wisdom. Saren stood beside them, a silent guardian and mentor. Ethan realized that her guidance had been a gift, teaching him that strength was not only measured in actions, but in heart and understanding. Ethan took a deep breath. He was ready for whatever adventures awaited. He was part of a family, part of a world full of wonder, and ready to face the future with courage, empathy, and love. The city lights glowed brightly, the air was calm, and Ethan knew he had found his place. With Lyra by his side and Saren's guidance behind him, he felt prepared to explore, to learn, and to embrace every new beginning that awaited them. Ethan smiled. His journey had only begun, but he was ready.